Are you looking for a podcast about a baby teenager's feet?
Then you must be thinking of another podcast.
Oh! Good evening, Kelsey.
Good evening, Robert.
Following up from last week's episode and this intro,
Okay.
did you get my guy on TikTok that claps his feet?
Oh my god, every TikTok you send me, I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And then you send me another one.
Ah!
Why do they
The
clap
first
so
time?
loud?
They go, hello, princess. Just when that happened the first time, I was struck with such surprise. Like, my mouth hit the floor, and I was just like, that gif of the 70s dude from that movie where it's just,
God.
and then he does it in so many subsequent ones. But then he's like, hello, I thought we'd go out to dinner, maybe some wine. And then his foot comes out from the back, and he's gripping a whole fucking bottle of wine in his grippers, man.
King. Oh, I hate it
And then
so much.
And then he's like, I just thought we would take a little trip, pack your bags. And then he's holding a whole fucking thing of luggage with his 2 feet in the back. And I'm like, what is he doing?
What's coming next?
Like, the production this man puts on with his feet in the background is magical. It's
How
magical.
do you find out that you can clap that loud with your feet? Imagine the first time
think
he
I
did that
sent
and he
you-
was like, holy shit.
I sent you the worst one, too, where he's like, I hear you miss the dogs. You miss them barking. You miss them clapping. And that's when I go, you know what? TikTok is pretty peak entertainment, man.
Truly is.
We
God.
really just let people go, bring us the wildest character you got.
Yeah.
And they do. They bring us some stuff sometimes. And that is one of my I'm like legit crying. Oh, fuck. Those are so funny. I forgot all about them until I tried to make that joke last show. And then I sent you just 2.
Thank
Trust
you.
me. Only 2. There's so many more.
The restraint you show is incredible.
Oh, man. I picked my 2 favorite ones. I didn't even send you the wine one, though. I gotta find the wine
You gotta
one.
send me the wine one.
The wine one is so funny. Because, like, his feet are, like, not in the back. Like, behind his head,
Yeah.
And then he'll hit his punchline, and then just, like, whoosh, there they come. And I'm like, that's a whole unopened bottle of wine.
The timing,
That's-
the talent, the grip strength.
He's even got a glass in the other foot.
No.
Ready to go.
God.
I hate this. Sorry, I went on about feet for the opening 5 minutes. My bad. I'm sorry.
These things happen. Shall we crack
Anyway.
into this?
Yes, please.
I need a refresher.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, man.
They have changed the ingredient label on La Croix. It now says
Mm-hmm.
ingredients, only carbonated water, naturally essenced. Asterisk. The only
I was
is in like
asterisk what?
yeah, why asterisk? The only is very bold and it's in a different color. Asterisk non-GMO, which is so
Okay.
important for you to know. I don't know. This is a strawberry peach La Croix.
I think I'm just on another level today.
I spilled it all down my front. I forgot how mouths work.
Because you went ingredients, and I was like, there's colons in it.
Okay. I woke up a couple of days ago, Tuesday, I think, and picked up my phone, as I so often do first thing in the morning. Great for your mental health. And I opened it up, and my phone's like, oh, good morning. Who are you? And just stared at me with this little blank face. Like, I'm a phone, I guess. Straight from the factory. Don't mind me. This is my first time ever in this home. It didn't, like... It didn't factory reset itself because, like, my background was still on there, but all my apps were gone.
Okay.
And
Weird.
I had messaging and I had my conversation history, but all my contacts were deleted. And
Okay.
it just was so fucked up. Like it tried to do an update overnight, I guess, and failed dramatically.
Wow. Okay.
And whatever the update was, the Bluetooth was what was failing. So I don't know why it caused the entire phone to fucking lose its marbles, but the Bluetooth was just turning off and on rapidly, like off, on, and it couldn't connect to anything at all. And I couldn't turn the Bluetooth off because when I turned the Bluetooth off, my phone turned off. So,
Whoa.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like, you want Bluetooth
Interesting.
off? Good night. So, yeah, I took it up to the AT&T store. And
Okay.
my God, they don't open until 10 o'clock. So, I mean, I was up at 6:30 because I'm trying to get on schedule for my new job. So
Yeah.
I'm awake for 4 hours just fucking around with my phone, trying to get it to do anything at all. And it was not working. And so I take it up to AT&T. First thing when they open, 10 o'clock. And there's already 4 people online. I'm like, God damn it. So I was there for an hour just waiting to be seen by somebody. And eventually got to the front of the line and was like, my phone is doing this. Can you fix it? And they were like, I've never seen this problem ever in my life. I don't understand why this is happening. It's like, okay, yeah, me either.
I was hoping you were going to say, like, I went there and it's just full of people with, like, just like it's a revolt and everyone's like, look at this phone. And, like, it just happened mass to a whole bunch of people.
I kind of wish
just you.
that it had, happened to anybody else. I haven't been able to find much online about why this happened, but like there was somebody a few years ago who had the same issue. They were like, my Pixel is having a Bluetooth problem, and they had the same thing happen. So I don't know, maybe it's just my luck, but yeah, my Pixel just completely shit the bed.
Well, see, when you were like describing what was happening just now,
Mm-hmm.
I had something similar like that a long time ago with a phone, and I don't remember what happened, but it just like kind of stopped doing that.
Weird.
But it was something weird, like the same way, like some setting just kept like just like going off and on.
It was not cool. I couldn't like operate the phone at all because it kept having a pop up being like, your Bluetooth isn't working. I'm like, I know, okay, but so anyway, I was left to my devices, browsing around the store, like clicking around on all the other Samsung phones, and I have been like so pro Pixel for the past, 10 years now? And
Something like that.
I do love the Pixel line of phones. They operate like a smoother version. It's like if Apple and Samsung had a baby, because it has all the goodness of like the Android stuff that you have, but kind of like an iPhone glaze over top where it looks, marketable and fancy and cool.
Yeah.
But the main factor always driving me toward Pixel was the camera, because Pixel came out and they're like, we have the best camera on the market. And I was like, hell yeah, you do. And so I got the Pixel and I loved it and I used the camera for it. And for many years I was satisfied. And I even at one point had switched back to a Samsung, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't get the camera to do jack shit. So I switched back to the Pixel, like within the same week, because there's that window where you can return the phone,
Yeah.
So, or maybe I had it for a whole year. I might have.
I don't think you had it long, because you were like, this phone blows.
Yeah, I hated it the whole time I had it. But I had it at least for a little while, because I had it long enough to really start to loathe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went back to Pixel and I was like, I'm going to stay on Pixel for the rest of forever. It's just the best. And Pixel has really stopped developing the camera. They just kind of plateaued with it. They were like, well, best camera on the market. We're just going to stay with that forever. And they instead put all their effort into like making more use of AI in the phone. And like, how can we
yeah, because they're Gemini, right?
Yeah. And they're like
Google
really
Gemini.
pushing Gemini very hard over the past couple of years. I decided while I was there looking at the phones to play around with the Samsungs, because why not? They're at my fingertips. And
Yeah.
I mean, I opened the camera and messed around with it, and they had like a thing there comparing all the specs. Like, here's what the new Google Pixel 9a max drive, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with phone names these days. They're all so long and different. But I looked at like the top galaxies from each of the lines, because they have the Edge, they have the the other one?
So it's really just like the normal, the plus, and then the ultra.
Yeah.
Because the Edge is like a weird kind of offshoot.
Okay.
Then they have like the A line, which is basically
Yeah.
like that's like last year's chips and stuff in it. So that's like your cheaper version. It's like that's what I got my dad. I was
Okay.
like, we want to get you a Samsung. Like you don't need all the crazy bells and whistles. So what if you just
Yeah.
got one that's like half the price because it's got last year's chipset in it and it's like barely slower? And he was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was
And
comparing
then you
all
got the flips.
I don't like the flips. I don't trust them.
Kind of like a flip.
They're cool looking. I don't feel like they have integrity. Like I don't trust myself with it. I'm just gonna like open it and it's gonna fall apart. Half the screen's not gonna work. I don't trust them. They haven't been out for long enough yet for me to be like, yeah, I want one of those.
They have though, which is kind of weird. Like it's like the flip version 10.
What?
And I was like, there's no fucking way. And like I was talking to a Samsung rep one year when that happened, and they were like, yeah, this is like the 10th model.
My
and I was
God.
like, but what do you mean? Like those came out yesterday, and they were like, I mean, not really. And I was like, okay, I still don't want one yet.
Yeah, I thought they came out like 2
Maybe.
years ago.
No, they're so old, kind of.
Shit.
Like they've kind of figured it out. Okay, well, it's really the Flip 7.
But still, that's more than I thought that they had.
That's a lot of flips.
Yeah.
I can't even do one flip.
So I compared everything, and the camera on the Samsung has surpassed that which Google offers. Like the top end Google camera is not
Yeah.
as good as the new Samsung camera. So I was like, that's it. I'm changing. Because I've been pissed off at my Google camera lately because it does this stupid fucking thing where you take a photo and it's like, what a great photo. You look at it and it's like, okay, I'm going to process the photo now. And you're like, wait, don't process it. What are you doing? And the phone's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it away from you and I'm going to process it. I'm going to bring it back so much better. And it brings it back. And it's like a horrible, grainy, like blown out, contrasty version of your photo. And I'm like, what is happening inside the gears of the phone? And how do I get to the raw files? Where like if I just point my camera at something and take a screenshot of it, great image. But if I actually take a picture, it sucks. So been dealing with that for the past couple of years, and there's no way to circumnavigate it. You can't get to the raw files anymore. They're overwritten. They're gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
It sucks. So I decided I'm going to go with the Samsung, and I got myself, what's the new one? The Plus 25 Ultra.
You got the 25 Ultra. So Samsung went easy in 2020. They said, okay, we're just going to match the year.
Good.
So this is the Samsung 20. And then 2021, it was the 21. And so now this is the 25.
Okay. Yes. Then I have the 25, and it's the fancy one with the pen in it, and I like the pen.
Yes.
I've been using
Which
it.
doesn't have Bluetooth to the phone anymore, so people are mad.
Doesn't have what? Why would you need
So
your
you
pen
used to be able to
Bluetooth?
use the pin. So like it's like you could put your phone up to like go take a selfie, take the pin with you, and then use that to click and take a
Oh.
photo. Doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, damn, that would be cool though.
Then
Huh.
it also did a thing where like you could do like gestures with it, so you could like move stuff on the phone almost like a wand with it, but it doesn't do that either. So
Weird. Okay.
yeah, when the 25 came out, it was a big deal. It was a big problem.
Okay.
But remember, I was going to go to the Pixels because you kept talking about them.
Yeah.
And like I was on the verge. I was looking at them. And then the Samsung rep showed me a picture of a baseball dude's junk that he took from the stands. And I went,
What?
pretty good camera. I'm not even fucking kidding. And I think I told this on the show 2 years ago when it happened. But the Samsung person was like, yeah, you know, you guys looking for phones? I was like, well, I'm kind of looking at the Pixel. And he was like, well, you know, why? And I was like, well, the camera's really good on the Pixel. So, you know, I'm kind of looking for a better picture. And
Yeah.
he was like, well, let me show you this. I was just at the Rangers game last night. Check this out. And he goes, here's where I was sitting. And I mean, he's like literally sitting where you can't see the people. They're just fucking dots down there. He's all the
Yeah.
way in the back. And he goes, okay. So then I zoomed in. Here's a picture that I took. And then see that guy. And he points at some dude and goes, now watch this. And then he shows the next picture. And it's just like the full guy. And he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I zoomed in like 60 times. And that's the picture that came out of it. And then this, and then he shows the next picture, and he just zoomed in right on the dude's crotch, and he's like, look at that. And I was like, it's a pretty good picture. And then I
All
got
right.
that phone.
Yeah, that's kind of the experience I had because the sales no without the baseball junk. But the guy was like, it has like 100 times zoom on
Yeah.
it. It's the best camera we have, and you could spy on your neighbors and stuff. It's like, cool.
But
Is
see,
that what
here's
you're
the
doing
thing.
with your spare time?
I've done the fucking 100 times zoom, and the
Mhm.
picture's booty ass, man. It
Is it?
sucks.
Man, I haven't tried it yet. Let me just point it in
But-
the window and see.
But it does have that image processing thing on by default, I think. And I
Oh.
went it because I kept noticing that I was
Whoa.
taking a picture and it would change, right?
Yeah.
I think the Ultras, the 100 times zoom, is better. I have the lower model, and I think it's not as effective.
It's not great. I mean, I took a picture of a dead end sign
It's not
at the
fucking great.
end of the road down there, and it's very blurry. It looks spooky.
Yeah. But, like, I had to, even on this phone right here, I did change it to where I set it to do minimal processing. You can tell
Ah.
it to do none.
Okay.
But
do you do that?
lately, you know what? Let's do it right now.
Let's do
That's
it.
not a horrible picture.
It's not
That's
horrible.
not horrible. Okay. So we're going to go into the camera.
Ew, I
right?
have my camera and I can see the dirt in between the cracks of my keyboard. Disgusting.
Okay. So we're going to do that. On the right, there's like the little thing with the 4 dots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Users
and
follow
then when
along
you
at
hit
home.
that, on the left, there's the cog wheel, right?
Yes.
Go in there. Right at the top, it says intelligent optimization.
Got it.
When you go in there, I set mine to minimum. And it
Okay.
doesn't go fully off. And mine was set to maximum. And I noticed that I would take a picture and then it would just like spin with these little things. And then it
Yes.
would like, blow that fucking photo out. And I was like, ooh, all these photos are gross.
Okay.
But with the minimal, it does kind of just like take it, it's done.
All right. I'm going to try that then. Yeah, 'cause
Try that. That should be better.
I tend to take like 10 to 15 rapid fire shots of my cats because they're moving, they're cats.
Yeah.
And half the time it's like you with the new phone, you only get like 3 photos when you do a bunch of tapping in a row.
Yeah. I mean, here. So this is one I got a Tenzin literally today doing that exact same thing that you said.
Mhm.
I was trying to take some pictures of him. General chat. This is one that I just got of him today. And I think that's a pretty good fucking photo.
That's a good photo of a little black man. He's so cute.
I mean, look at the fur like on his back.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. That to me, I went, ooh, that's a Kelsey photo because you always got the good photos. Your photos were always way better.
Thank you. I'm gonna send you a picture I took with Dee today with my new phone.
Bruh, I fucking hate looking at your photos because I would always go, why can I see everything? And then I'd turn and take a picture of one of my animals and go, I don't see the fur. Like, I don't see hair,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, see? That's a good photo.
It's a nice photo.
But for me, it's more the blanket. Like, all the
Yeah.
stitching in that blanket
see the
is
stitching.
very nice.
It's even better like on my actual camera versus in Discord because it compresses
yeah.
the image.
Well, now I've stepped into the RAW camera. So there is the normal camera, or you can use the RAW one where it does literally nothing to it, and you can change everything about the picture that it takes.
That's cool. See,
So that's what I've been using now.
I love photography.
You should do like a photography thing at like a little... Just go to like UNT right there and do a little photography class on the side for fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like, why not? I wonder if now you could just like do it with your phone.
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I
Just
know
be
that
like,
there's
yeah.
film cameras that have much more capabilities in the hands of an artist than a regular phone camera, but like phones do so fucking much these days. It's ridiculous the amount of power you can get out of a phone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know they do a lot. Like, did you know that actually this movie I went to see was filmed entirely on iPhones?
What? For real?
Again? So, okay, I went and saw 28 Years Later.
Yes.
It was filmed on maybe like 20 consecutive iPhones. He built this giant rig that the iPhones are just staggered in like a little semicircle, and that's how he got the
What?
different cuts. So like he could cut the scene and get like different angles.
Yeah.
Just because they were all filmed at the same time, but at different angles.
That's
Let me find you the photo.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's wild. I didn't know this was because they advertised so much about like, oh, this movie was shot entirely on the iPhone 12 or whatever, and like, I don't think I've seen any stuff about this one being done that way. Was the original 28 Days Later done on iPhones?
No, because iPhones hadn't even come out.
Fuck. Shut up.
So here's the thing.
Oh
yeah,
my
like
God.
that's a rig that they use to film it.
Weird.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
I
had seen
it
this
is
picture
not the first
before,
movie.
but I didn't know what that was.
There are many movies that have been filmed on phones specifically. There's one that I have downloaded that I really wanted to watch. Movie shot on iPhone. There's one that I downloaded that sounded really good. It's about it. Yeah, it's called Unsane.
Ooh.
And it's filmed entirely on like an iPhone 15. And it's like a girl's descent into madness or something wild.
Okay.
I've had it for a long time. I just haven't watched it. I really, really want to. So I went and saw 28 Years Later because it is one of Mary's favorite franchises of all time. So, of course, I was going to take her, right? I did my part. Still don't fucking like it.
Yeah. I'm hearing so much wild shit about this movie, and none of it is good.
I'm not shitting on this movie. Like, it is a movie. I wanted to say it was a good movie, but it's not a bad movie.
The struggle in your eyes right now.
It's not a bad movie, but it is literally not a movie for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I've found myself really enjoying this movie for like the first half. I was like, yeah, if this is what we're doing, yeah. And then it went, we're 28 days later, and I went, oh, yeah, you're still not a good movie? Okay, cool.
All right.
Great. Full spoilers. I'm just going to fucking tell you basically all the important shit.
Tell me everything. Tell me about the penis.
As you guys might recall, we did watch 28 Days Later for a Zeitgeist thing. We'll probably release that one day in the normal feed, and you can watch us hate it in real fucking time. Because I remember watching you watch it, and I think we, like, locked eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't like this, do you? And you were like, I don't fucking like this movie. Because it's not a good movie.
It's really not.
It's just not a good movie.
Bad. I'm sorry, guys. It's not good.
I tend to like up my hate for it. It's really not a shit movie. Like, part one is okay.
It's fine. Like, that's the definition of it. It is fine. Yes. I would never watch it again if I didn't have to.
Like the thing how like they were taking the women to try to like recolonize the world. That's like the only thing that I was like, that's something for this movie.
Yeah.
Everything else, I was just like, okay. Here's my thing. If anyone would just come out and say, we know they're bad, but we love them, I could turn around on this franchise immediately. But it's the fact that people are like, this is Oscar-worthy greatness, the greatest movies ever, and people hold that so true that I go, no, I hate these movies to death.
You just don't understand these movies. You don't understand the messaging.
That's what I get. If people would just say, no, it's like Army of Darkness, I'd go, okay, I can like these, right? But I just can't like them when... I straight up said this when we left. You ready?
Yeah.
Do you know the clip? It's a big sound on TikTok. The people use it all the time. It's from Family Guy. And he's like, before we die, I feel like there's something I have to tell you guys.
Yeah.
I hate The Godfather. What? I just hate The Godfather. How could you say that? It's one of the best movies. It insists upon itself.
Yes.
Okay? That is how I fucking feel about 28 Days Later. It insists upon itself.
I think that's okay. It's a camp movie that takes itself seriously. If it would just lean into the camp, it could be something. But like, it wants to be so serious, and it's not.
So let me get into it, man. Because this movie, that's my problem. These movies have great ideas, and you know I love a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's like they want to bring the idea up and just let you go home and think about it, but not explore anything about it.
No, they're just like, look at this. Isn't that fucked up? Think about it.
Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you one part that you're going to be like, that's a fucking really good idea. And then I'm going to say, and then we never talk about it again. We never even entertain this again. And you're going to love it. Like, when it happened, I went, oh, Kelsey would love this part.
Okay.
And then it's over 30 seconds after it happens, and it doesn't fucking matter. That's my thing. If you can strip the scene out of the movie and nothing changes, it's a pointless scene. And that is the entirety of all of these movies.
Okay.
None of these scenes fucking matter. Okay. So it is 28 years later. I kind of forgot that like the story actually does continue in all of these movies.
Is this truly like 28 years after the first movie was filmed?
Yes. I think it is actually.
97? Is that how time works?
Then it is not, because 28 days later was in 2002.
Okay.
Not a 20, 2002, 2002.
So 23 years later.
So it's close.
It's fine.
Close enough. So, remember, these are not zombies. We have to get that across. This is not a zombie franchise.
They're a rage zombie.
This is the rage virus, yes. Okay. So, rage virus occurred in the original, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were quarantined to the UK. It did not spread across the globe. That's the whole point of that movie, is that he looks up and sees airplanes. So, like, literally everywhere besides the UK, life is operating as normal. But in the UK, this virus has decimated everything.
I forgot about that part.
Great fucking concept, kind of.
Interesting.
Right? That is! Oh! But we don't care! 28 weeks later, because I had to watch a reminder thing.
I didn't watch that one.
No. And I've only seen it when it came out, and I got it from Blockbuster, if that says how fucking long ago that was. 28 weeks later. That was 2007. That's when I watched it.
Wow.
That cast? Fucking stacked, my guy. It's got Jeremy Renner, Robert Carlyle, Rose Byrne, Imogen Poots.
Imogen Poots.
It's got Idris Elba.
Idris.
It has so many famous people in this movie, and I'm like, why didn't I like it? And then I watched the recap and was like, oh yeah, because it sucks. So 28 weeks later is 28 weeks after. I mean, come on. I was trying to think of what I wanted to say with that, but so it's 28 weeks later. The deal is they've quarantined it again, and they've come into a quarantine zone where life is pretty much stabled out.
Okay.
Right? Robert Carlyle left his wife to die in the house when it got run over by ragers. I don't know what you call these things.
Ragers is great.
I like ragers. So the rage dudes come in, and he kind of went coward and left her, and he looks back and watches her get ripped apart in the window.
That
or some
sucks.
shit. And he just runs away. Well, then his kids were on vacation. They wind up in the quarantine zone with him, and he's all like, oh yeah, your mom, I tried to help her. Okay. And he lies to him. Well, then you find out later that they bring someone into the fucking quarantine zone, and it's his wife.
Oh shit.
She lives. Oh, she lives.
Okay.
But what? She's basically immune. Okay. She has heterochromia. And so, one eye is different colors, right? Well, for some reason, that is also... And they don't know this, but we know this by watching the movie. That's an indicator of people that are, immune. So she's immune.
That's wild.
She's a carrier, but she doesn't have the rage symptoms. She just has the disease, but she's normal.
Okay.
Well, he's like, oh my God, my wife, I love you. So he kisses her, instantly catches it, and affects the entire quarantine zone.
Great.
But then they're sneaking people out, and then at the very end, Jeremy Renner basically goes, oh, you're the son of those people, and you also have heterochromia. You might be immune too. Let's sneak you out of here and study you. Okay. And then they leave, and then it ended, and that's it.
Weird.
And now here we are 28 years later, and that idea is not here at all. We don't care anything about immunity.
All right, fine.
It spread to the rest of Europe. It got quarantined back down to just like the UK and like a little bit of France or something.
Okay.
And so now there's a new quarantine zone, and there's like warships that like go around the channels out there, and that like if people try to escape, they just fucking kill you.
Mm.
And if any of their people wind up on land, they never go back for them. Like,
All
if
right.
you're on land, you're done. We
That's
don't
no
care about
man's
you anymore.
land.
So there's a little island with like this tiny little land bridge that goes up and down with the tide, right? So like when it's low tide, you can go to the mainland and then you can come back. But when it's high tide, nothing can get to you.
Okay.
This guy is training his kid on how to like go out and forage and do all the stuff. He's 12 years old, and that's like the first half. He's like, all right, let's go out there. So they go out, and he's like teaching them how to shoot. There's these big fat zombies that just like crawl
Nice.
around and just like eat earthworms and shit. It's really fucking weird.
Gross.
And they have little fat families, which was weird because like there's this one just like eating the stuff, but then like the girlfriend's like sneaking up behind him to kill him. It was
Okay.
weird. Then, like, they kill those two. They're all screeching. So he's like, more's going to come. We got to go hide. And he's like, oh, fuck. It's an alpha. And so now there's, like, random zombies that they just, like, can kind of control their anger. And they just, like, own the other fucking zombies.
All right. What a stupid
like,
name, an alpha.
All the, like,
Chad zombie.
all the normal ones just, like, wait. And then when he screams, they bum rush these two people. So, like, there is a level of control. So I'm like, okay, I am legend much? We gonna go
Yeah.
that direction? And then we get a little bit more that way. Then we don't care. So it's like, okay, interesting. The alpha thing's whatever. So they hide out overnight. Then the next day, they run to the land bridge. And this alpha is chasing them through the land bridge while, like, the water's coming up. And there's this
Ugh.
fucking super dope scene. Because, like, they're way ahead, and just in the distance, in the fog, you just see, like, little splashes. And it's this dude just
Ugh.
fucking running.
Scary.
And then it, like, cuts back to him, and he's got the heaviest footsteps. He's just doom, 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 bum rushing them. And they're fucking running, and he's coming. It's like, oh, my God. And he's like, we're not infected. And the people in the encampment shoot, like, a giant flaming log into the alpha's face. It was a whole bunch of shit.
Okay.
It's really dope. So then he's like, hey, my kid's an alpha killer. He's so dope. And he's like, my dad's lying. Like, I got scared and I missed like half my shots, like with the arrow. I think my dad's a piece of shit.
Oh.
And my mom is sick. And then some guy's like, oh, well, there's a doctor out in the woods somewhere. Like, he might know something for your mom. So he's like,
Yeah, the
Dad,
tree
they
doctor."
said there's a doctor. But now that we've been out there and I know what to expect, we should go find him. And he's like, no, you're a little piece of shit, kid.
Okay.
So then he sneaks his mom out. And then this is
Naturally.
where the movie just loses everything for me.
All right.
He's taking his mom out to go to the doctor guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some guy that basically was a doctor. He went nuts, apparently, and he's just burning mass bodies at his encampment out there. And the people in that town saw him. They got scared of him. And they've never been back. It's been 15 years.
Okay.
Some wild thing. Well, they encounter more alphas, all this shit. Well, I'll get to the alpha after. There's one scene that was so good, though. His mom kind of has, like, dementia. She, like, kind of doesn't remember who he is, but then, like, she does. And she's fading enough that, like, she starts to just call him Dad.
Oh.
He's, like, 12 years old.
Oh.
But she calls him Dad, and he just takes care of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's like, you go to sleep, and I'm going to keep watch. Well, he fucking falls asleep.
No.
Instantly. And it was the best scene in the whole movie, though. He's asleep, she's asleep, and one of those fat fucking zombie things comes, like, crawling in. And it's this high-up shot, and you're just watching it slowly slink towards this kid asleep there. And then it, like, gets close, and it picks up his shoelace thinking that it's an earthworm, like we saw before. And it's
Okay.
all, blah, blah, and it, like, hates it. And then it sees him, and it gets right up in his fucking face. And it's dead quiet the whole time. Just the noises of this fucking zombie. Or whatever he is. And it gets really close. And then, like, a bag goes over its head. It gets ripped away. And then it's morning. And you're like,
What?
what was that all about? And then randomly, they just show you that the mom went like
sleeper cell mode.
yeah, and just fucking waylaid on that zombie and killed it.
Hell yeah.
But guess what? We never go back to that.
What?
I still don't know what the point of that scene was.
Okay.
Yeah, she literally just like had woken up, takes her jacket, ties it around its neck, and just beats it back and forth against some rocks. All like badass, and then she's all like all out of breath and tough. And then we never do anything like that again. Nothing like that ever happens again.
What?
We never even discuss. He never even finds out that happened.
Okay.
The kid never knows this. Why did we tell us?
Why did we do this?
Okay. So then they sneak out, and one of the boats with soldiers on it from out on the warships crashes on the mainland. So now they're never going to get seen again.
Okay.
The army's not coming for them, and only one gets left. He meets up with our people, and he's like, well, I have nowhere to live anymore, so I'm just going to follow you and your mom, and you can take me to your village because I fucking live here now. This sucks. And then randomly, there's a pregnant zombie.
Oh, no.
And so she's walking around, and then the mom, like, hears her and, like, leaves the group silently, goes to, and this is the part that I think you'll love, because she's a rager, right? She's all crazy, but the mom, who's, like, you know, all dementia or whatever, she, like, walks, like, right up to her, and, like, there's this, like, womanly connection that outweighs the rage thing. So, like, they, like, hold hands, and then she helps her birth this baby.
What the fuck?
And I was like, this is kind of cool that, like, their humanity outweighed that virus in that moment.
It's
like,
an
they
interesting
both
moment,
literally spoke to each other on just a human level.
Yeah.
Right? Or, like, a woman level. She, like, births the baby. And then, like, the mom's, like, laying there, and then she rages, and the army dude shoots her to shit, and then she died.
Awesome.
Then...
So is the baby normal? Do we follow the baby at all?
The baby's normal, which is a whole thing that I don't understand either.
Does the baby have heterochromia?
No. Nope. I don't know. That would have been a good tidbit. Fuck. Now I need to know that.
So you can transmit it by kissing, but not by birth.
I guess not. We'll get there because a line gets said about it.
Okay.
So then the alpha shows up and he rips old army boy's head off of his fucking shoulders. Like he literally just grabs and rips the spine out and everything.
Wow. Like a fucking Mortal Kombat finisher.
Yep. And so he's chasing them, and like he stops and looks at the one that just gave birth, and it's like, oh, he's checking on his lady. So it's like, I Am Legend vibes. Remember? They like know how to love, all this stuff. So they're running away from the alpha dude, and he's got a 28-inch dick just swinging all the fuck around.
Okay. That's all I'm hearing about this movie is like there's a naked man and he's got a big zombie thing.
Oh, yeah.
Why do we need
They
zombie
focus
schmeat?
on it a lot.
Like, why? Why are we at that stage of our lives?
Like, he's just standing there. So, like, let's say I'm doing the filming. Like, it's just off to the corner. Like, the guy's just like, whoop.
It's just like, oop, let's focus on it.
But, like, yeah, you see it quite a bit. And, I mean, it's like my whole forearm.
Jesus.
Just hanging down there.
Imagine being that guy, and they're like, okay, let's go ahead and get you in the fucking zombie penis rig. Here's your panties that you have to wear with a big kielbasa dangling off of it.
Yeah.
Unless the man is just, like, slung, and then you know what? Good for him. But
I think it's real, but I don't know.
Okay.
So then he's getting, they're like getting chased, and then like he just stops. And it turns out the doctor guy has these like blow darts full of morphine and shit, and he's like,
Nice.
"Oh hey!" So like he shows up, he's like, "Hey, don't kill him. That's Samson. He's like my entertainment here. I love Samson.
Obviously.
I love Samson. Bat, bat, bat." And then he walks away. No. He's standing right next to him, like his like elbows almost touching that thing. And I'm like, "Ralph Fiennes, move away. Step away from this man, please." So he's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Are you the doctor?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a doctor." And he's like, "My mom is sick. Let's go." And he's like, "Okay, what's up with the fucking baby?" And they're like, "It just got born from some rager thing in there." And he's like, Huh, but it's normal. The magic of the placenta.
I've
always wondered.
Tell me that's
Yes.
Is that
That is
verbatim?
legit the line. That is
Oh my
legit
God.
the line.
The magic of the placenta. Yes, yes.
He says, so the baby's normal? And they go, yeah. Like, the baby seems fine. And he goes, I'd always wondered what would happen. The magic of the placenta. Like, all contemplative. So then they walk to where he lives, and there's just fucking skulls everywhere. So basically, his hobby and his way of tributing people is he burns their bodies and then takes the skulls, and he's like, this was once a person who thought things and felt things, and these eyes saw art and knew the world, and these lips like had kissed people, and so now I've just made a giant fucking mountain out of their skulls.
His hobby is skulls. Yeah, okay.
I'm sure you've seen that picture, right?
I don't think I have.
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna share my screen.
I
Let me
have
find 28
a
years
Discord
later,
icon
skulls.
right now that was gifted to me from Discord. It's just a pile of skulls. It's for 28 days later.
That's the scene. That
That's
right
a
there.
lot of skulls.
So
does he have a ladder? Like, how does he get him up there? Just toss him really elegantly?
So see all those wooden things? They are part of the structure, and you can climb them like a ladder and get to the top.
Are those like femurs? What are those?
Just oh yeah, all the pillars are fucking just other bones.
Okay.
And so this is what he does all day: is burn bodies and place their bones in this monument because memento morum. You know, remember we all die. Remember
All
death.
night, all night.
You know.
Everything he sees is just bones, like him. Thank you. Hearty chuckle.
So, the guy that just got his head ripped off, the army dude, he's like, did you know him? Because they're just carrying his fucking. Oh yeah, he like takes it from like Samson. That's like, oh yeah. He's like, this is Samson. Be nice to him. And he's like, drop it, give it. So like he's like tugging the skull from his hand and it's like whacks his little dick and it's like, yeah, give it. Not really, but like he does like rip it away and he's like, we gotta go because like he's gonna wake up in like 5 minutes. So they
All
leave.
right.
And then like you watch him do the process where he burns all the meat off and then he like cleans up the skull and he's like, well, you knew him, so place him somewhere. And I'm like, why do we care? That dude was a fucking dick. Like he was mean to them the whole 5 minutes he was in the movie. And so like he puts his skull somewhere and then they talk about memento morum, how like you got to remember death happens, like don't fear death. Well, let me examine your mom now. So he starts looking over his mom and doing all these tests, and he goes, well, she's got cancer, and she's gonna die.
Great.
So, here, smoke this. And he puts that fucking 12-year-old on a fucking, like,
Ketamine.
peyote fucking zoned out
Spiritual
thing.
journey.
And then walks his mom and fucking offs her and brings her skull back to him immediately. Because they just have like some known thing. She like nods to him and he nods to her and he's like, here, smoke this real quick. And then the kid, it's literally like a 5-minute scene of him just like seeing shapes and colors and shit. And he's going all fucking bananas.
Oh my
They
God.
walk off together and then he comes back and goes, give her the best spot of all. And it's his fucking mom. You just told him she had cancer 10 minutes ago.
What is happening in this world?
And then brings her skull right back.
Here you go, Sonny boy, a gift for you.
So then he climbs that thing and he puts her on the top and faces her towards the sunset or the sunrise as it comes up. And it's like this beautiful moment with a kid and his dead mom's skull.
Full Cubone moment.
And then he's like, well, time for you to take this baby back to your home because I'm not fucking going. And then Samson shows up and he's like, oh, Samson's fucking killing me.
Oh my God.
They're hiding in this like little bunker thing and Samson can't get to him till he just like bursts through the earth like fucking Uma Thurman and Kill Bill.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He just bursts in and then he starts grabbing Ralph Fiennes to tear his head off his fucking shoulders.
Make his own.
And then the
skull part of
kid
pile.
is just like, hey, no. Then he like stops him and then Samson leaves.
All right. Samson's very persuadable. Is he really a rage zombie, or is he just like a guy that's naked and walking around? He's mad.
Maybe. I don't know. So then he goes, thanks. Well, get out of here. And then we leave the doctor. Kid runs all the way home, runs across the land bridge. And then he leaves the baby outside with a note. And he fucks off. And he leaves.
All right.
So then there's like this whole like swelling music where like, it's like, don't follow me, Dad. I'm leaving. But here's a baby that was born from a rager. But the baby's okay. Anyway, Mom has cancer and died, and I put her skull somewhere. And I'm going to go live my life as a real boy.
Okay.
And then he leaves. And then this is where it gets real weird. So apparently these movies are big on the twist, like the big reveal.
Are they?
And this is the big reveal.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
At the very beginning of the movie, there was a kid. There was like a little like community.
Okay.
And it opens with these kids watching Teletubbies, right?
Okay.
And then like the mom runs in and goes, everyone just stay in this room and don't fucking move. And ragers come in and kill like all the kids and all the adults, right?
Shit.
And one kid makes it out and he runs to his dad, who's a preacher in this church. And he's like, no, this is what the Lord has intended for us to be. And then he like gives this kid his cross and goes, go, Jimmy, be free. And then lets all the ragers eat him and his eyes all bleed out. And then he turns into a thing and he's happy to be one. And then we never hear from Jimmy again.
Okay.
Until now. It's all this time later. Our 12-year-old kid has gone off on his own. And then, oh no, now he's trapped. He's up against a wall. There's zombies everywhere. They're coming to get him. And then all of a sudden, some blonde dude in a tracksuit shows up over the edge of this cliff and goes, hey, sonny boy, what you doing? Looks like you need some help. And then fucking Power Rangers style montage happens where all these other blonde people in tracksuits like jump. I'm not making this fucking up, guys. They jump over that fucking cliff, like front flips in with like golf clubs, and they're like, wah, wah, and he's like, get 'em, boys. And then they fucking kill all the fucking zombie dudes.
Okay.
He jumps down there and he's like, hey, my name's Jimmy. Think you might need some help. And then it fucking ended.
What? What? Oh my
And there's
God.
no end credits.
These movies, man.
That's that actual movie that I paid money to see.
Thank you for sharing. So, I am so glad I didn't see this.
And guess what?
What?
That's why you're proving my point. Because I have gotten TikToks that said, if you don't like the end of 28 Years Later, you just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what makes me go like, no, you believe it's so real.
Yeah.
Like you believe this is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yes, yeah.
You're thinking this is fucking Shawshank Redemption.
And it just ain't. It's simply
Not, bro.
are not. It is no.
I don't. If you would just put it on the level. If you just say, you know what? Dead Alive, similar
Yeah.
vibe. Evil Dead, similar
Yeah.
vibe. I'd go, you know what? I like these.
There you go.
It's the zombie dick movie, and I would be happy and just be fine
That's
with it.
what I'm saying. They just need to lean into the camp. They're right there at the precipice. They're on the edge of it, just peeking in, dipping their fingers into it, but they're
'Cause,
not
like,
doing it.
some of those scenes, like him putting his mom's skull at the top, if we take out the fact that it was like 5 minutes ago he found out she was dying.
Yeah. Like
it was a beautiful scene. Like it was beautiful. I like felt an emotion and I was like, but this doesn't matter.
Like if
in
he
the
had been
long run.
carrying her skull for like 10 years or something, you know, like, oh, my poor mother, I want to honor her legacy. And then he meets this guy who's like, I collect bones too. Let's be crazy together. And then they place the
like-
skull.
Because like we said, it's a good idea. The whole thing is she knew she was dying, but how do you tell your child, I'm gonna die?
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know how to tell you this, but I let this doctor do it. And like, I don't know how to feel because there is nothing we can do, and now I feel like a bad mom. And he's like, but I love you. You're such a good mom. And like, it's real human shit.
Yeah.
It's a good scene. It's a good moment. But the fact that you let the doctor offer while you peyote the kid is what makes it weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All in all, I give it 28 dicks.
All right. Great.
It was... It sure was a movie that in 10 years I'm going to go, do I need to watch that again? And then I'll probably watch it with you.
Yeah,
and
we'll watch it
we'll
for you
lock
and Toad.
eyes. And I'll go like, this is bad, right? And you're like, yeah, it's really bad.
Oh, man.
But it was shot on an iPhone, and I can't tell because there are some shots in this that are breathtakingly gorgeous. It is absolutely a gorgeous movie sometimes. Like, truthfully.
At least it has that going for it.
Yeah, it's great to look at. I just don't understand it. And you know what? I don't want to. So in the go ahead and write in, let me know what I don't get, and I'll be like, yep, and I still don't.
Yeah. I would love to hear Mary's take on why it's important cinema. Did Mary like it?
Oh, she's already seen it again. She
Okay,
loves it.
all right.
It's a straight 10 out of 10. Everything about it is flawless. To which I was then, remember our conversation? We don't just eat just to eat.
Yeah.
Remember? Like, there's God of Wars I don't like. It's bad.
Mhm.
It's not a good one. There's Uncharted I don't like. It's bad. If you would just tell me, I know they're bad, but I like them. I kind of like Twilight because I know it's bad, but people
Yeah.
enjoy that it's bad.
Yeah.
If one person will give me that for 28 the franchise, I can get on board. Just give me
Somebody
that,
write
somebody.
in.
But you have to mean it with today's newspaper and a picture of your hand. Or in the okay, never mind. I was like, or in the
No.
case of this movie.
No, we're not inviting that. Let's go to the break.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break real quick.
Oh, you think you know what happened to me? Look, I'm back, and I'm about to unearth all the secrets in Old Cove. So do a little refresher on Season 1 and get caught up before Season 2 arrives. Trust and believe. You don't want to miss what's coming.
Welcome to Severed, a podcast suite that offers a rotation of content centered around true crime to paranormal cases. Severed True Crime covers high to low profile true crime cases like the Westfield Watcher, The Staircase, The Keepers, and other binge-worthy favorites on Netflix. Severed Paranormal peers into the corner-moon windows of the Amityville Horror House, the Conjuring House, and other mysterious cases, locations, and urban legends.
I'm Harry Chambers.
And I'm Drew Hudson. We want you along for this investigative and haunting roundup. Scare you soon.
It is that time again.
It's La Boo Monday.
La 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 boo boo Monday.
It's Monster
Oh,
Monday.
man.
The
It is
monsters.
Monster
Little
Monday.
monsters. Monsters and Mondays.
Should we? Okay. I kind of want to do a countdown because I said we had like 9 weeks, so it would be like 8 weeks left. There's
Yeah.
9 weeks left, but I don't know.
I don't know
So,
either,
okay.
actually. So I haven't
I have to figure it out.
I've mapped out what we're doing at least for the Prague arc, which we're currently going through. So for the
Okay.
Prague arc, we are doing 3 episodes. We did 1. This is 2. We'll have 1 more for Prague.
Okay. So I won't be doing that till like right towards the end
Yeah.
because we're going to get there. Okay. I fucking hate you.
Why?
Because, man, Kelsey said
Uh-huh.
last week, you're going to meet a guy that I think you're going to love, and I fucking love him.
I know you do.
I love this guy, dude.
Isn't
I
he the best?
love Grimmer so fucking much. His voice, I was like, oh, he's so dulcety and beautiful.
Buttery.
So I looked him up because I was like, he's kind of giving me Mustang vibes again. But
Okay.
it is not at all. I need you to see the guy
Okay. I love
because
anime voice actors.
I would never picture this guy.
Yeah, they never look like
ever.
their voice.
Bro,
Like-
I was like, oh my God, it's going to be Mustang again. It's going to be so great. And then I pulled up and was like, what the fuck? Who is? It was like when we took the mask off of off of Sleep Token.
Oh,
and you were
yeah.
like, nah, you
just
can
a
put that
dude.
back on. You're like, ooh, no, you can keep that. Okay. So we're talking about, of course, Wolfgang Grimmer.
Yes.
I fucking love this dude so much. He's the best. That's our guy.
That's just a normal man. Just an
That-
average American.
But that guy sounds sexy as fuck in this show.
He does. He's got that deep butter.
Dude, Grimmer sounds so like I will say there are people in the show that sound normal and there are people that sound like voice actors. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you can like feel the line from them, you know?
Mhm.
That's how this whole guy sounded.
Yeah, I agree.
I was like, "Oh, this guy is good sounding.
yeah, he's
I like
playing
this guy."
the part.
So, okay. First one is just called Grimmer.
Yes. So
where
we meet Grimmer. Don't
Wolfgang
read the
Grimmer.
Wikipedia.
I did not know that was his name, by the way.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, okay. I just remembered Grimmer because I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah, heck yeah, it is.
Okay. So basically, he's just like
He's a
out
journalist.
and about. Yeah, well, he's a freelance journalist now, free from
Yes.
the shackles of his newspaper to do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
And what he wants to do is advocate for human rights, most specifically children's rights.
Yes, so he is digging real deep into 511 Kinderheim. And he's basically just looking for this one guy who was the director of the program early on.
Yes. And we also find out pretty early, like when we are introduced to Grimmer, you find out that he lives now he's from East Germany, which is Nazi Germany. And
Yes.
he used to be a spy. So he was like,
Oh, yeah.
I think he spied on the Nazis, like for West Germany. I don't think he was a Nazi
Yeah.
spy. So he's
Yeah.
always been a good guy. And he's just like a cool dude. He's just happy, smiley. Like he's always got a grin.
Yeah. And he's so... I thought it was an act, but I just do believe this man is pure genuine.
Yeah.
But, like, to a nauseating degree.
Okay, so
Because... Yeah. Go ahead. So what?
There's so
Let's
much
see.
that happens in this episode. Like, I mean, pretty quickly into the episode, so he's talking to the director guy. We find out that he wants to hunt down the director. He gets on the subway to go somewhere or other. He's going to Prague to find the director.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
And he's got this stupid giant fucking bag. And he's just like,
Okay.
oh, I can't get in the door.
My
you
thing,
goober."
my thing predates this just
Okay.
by a hair. I want to talk
All right.
about his stupid fucking. Tell me what you thought about this scene though. This guy's giving him the spiel like, oh well, my sister had a baby, but then the baby doesn't have any arms and legs, and this guy's doing this whole fucking spiel to him, and his reaction is, what? No. Oh my God! Have you called the police? They can't find anything. Oh no! The
Oh my
drama, the
God.
terror. Well, that's just the worst problem I've ever heard. That is just like the worst thing. Oh my God! I can't believe it. My Lanta, Jesus, man. And I was like, he can't really be this way, right? But he is. And then he
I
gives
know.
that guy money. Which, I mean, you can tell it's an act or whatever, but still,
Yeah.
he gives him money. And then that guy's like, I can't believe you'd give that shyster money. He's in here every day trying to get stuff from people. Ah, you stupid young man.
And then Grimmer's
leaves,
like,
and it's
I
just
got
like,
scammed? Oh my God. Cool.
Tourism!
That was fun.
Yeah, he's just like, life experience, yay me! And I was like, this
Whee!
guy can't be for real. But he is
He's-
that fucking genuine.
He's just that guy. And I fucking, we
Yeah.
didn't even talk about the kid with the shoes. So, like, we opened this episode on a child who is being bullied because his, like, what classmates, I guess, stole his shoes and were kicking him down the road and be like, kick him in his feet. He can't get the shoes.
Yeah.
And Grimmer is, like, catching whiff of this from up in his window. You know, he can kind of see what's happening, and then he like leaves work and goes and sees the kid, and he's like, hey buddy, I saw you getting bullied, I've got some shoes, and like gives him
You know, they say people can survive without shoes. We did it for a long time before they were created. Well, have mine, and then
Yep.
he just leaves.
Gives the kid the
But then-
shoes off of his feet.
I thought it was really cute that the kid just like walked back over, all clomp, clomp, clomp,
Clop, clop,
and
clop.
gives them back, and he's like, "Yeah, they're kind of big, huh?" And then they just share a hearty chuckle. And then he goes to the subway, and then so he's got his big. Which are we ever gonna find out? I mean,
We found
I
out a
know I
little bit
shouldn't
of what's
ask
in the bag.
spoiler stuff, but like, do we find out like what's in the bag? Because
I
I'm
think
like,
we
there's
do,
gotta be
yeah.
a dead fucking body in this bag. It's so
God.
big.
He's carrying so much shit. So I mean, so he meets Tenma on the subway because he's trying to get his stupid bag in the door.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I can't fit it," because he's trying to fit it like a fucking square peg in a round hole, the widest part possible
I
to the
know.
skinniest part. Turn the bag, Grimmer. Turn the bag.
That's why I was like, this guy can't be for real, right? Like,
Yeah.
this like genuine duncy thing has to be an act.
You get glimpses.
Which it kind of is.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It kind of okay. So Tenma is like, "Oh, I'll help you," because of course Tenma's going to help him. Puts his hands on the bag and
Yeah.
stuffs him through the hole, and they share a little train car and hang out. And then the passport police come around and they're just like checking on passports, like making sure you're a real passenger. And they each give him the passport, and Tenma's is being really inspected by the guy. He's like, "You're Japanese or something, right?" And they look at it for a long time, and then eventually Grimmer kind of like makes conversation with the guard, like, "Oh, how's trout
Hey.
fishing? I love
Yeah,
trout fishing."
You can catch a trout this big out there. I
This
almost
big.
did last year. Oh, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, and the guard's like, "Okay, whatever," and like lets him go, but they're not letting him go. They're just like walking away to kind of get more police and come back and get Tenma.
Yep.
And Grimmer clocks that, and he's like, "So, Dr. Tenma, they see that your passport is fake, and they're going to come back for you, and I'm going to help you escape."
How do you know who I am?
Good anime gasp. That's
Dude,
perfect.
His face drop and everything. He's like, Dr. Tenma, they know. That passport was clearly fake. They're going to be gathering people right now. You need to leave right now.
Yeah.
How do you know me? Don't worry about how I know you. Point is, we're going to the same place, find out the same stuff. Let me give you a head start.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, fool is kind of smart.
Yeah.
Definitely somewhat of an act. Okay,
There's
cool. We're
something
good with
going
it.
on with him. So he goes out into the hallway of the train and like sticks his bag again in there sideways and is like, "Oh no, passport police, I'm stuck."
What are you doing, passport police, bro? Like, don't.
So eventually, Tenma gets away. Grimmer just decides while the train. Did Tenma tuck and roll like Tom Cruise off of this train?
Yes, he did. So I will say that was the weird thing about these three, that Tenma showed up, literally jumped off a train, and we do not see him again. The
Yeah,
remainder
I
of
mean,
these three.
I think that's just to let us know, like, guess what? Tenma is in Prague, and this guy knows who he is. So, I mean, we get all of 5 minutes of Tenma in these 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And then Tenma... So, Grimmer follows Tenma, and he's talking about him, like, why do you know me? How do you know who I am? And Grimmer kind of spills the beans and is like, well, I'm a journalist and I've been following your story in the news, and I just think that you're a cool guy and I like you and I think you're innocent. So as far as we know, that's the truth. Like, I want to believe Grimmer at this point, right? We don't think he has any ill will toward Tenma?
I never got anything like that from him at all. Ever.
Yeah. It seems like he just wants to be friends. And I mean, he helps him to get to the Czech border. And not only does he do that, he's like, guess what? I have a full cheese board and bottle of wine in this giant bag. Let's share it on the mountainside. And they have like a fun little charcuterie picnic. And so during that, also, we get a glimpse into like where Tenma is at emotionally and also physically in time.
Yeah.
Because he's like, it's been a month since I shot a man and I'm struggling with it. So last we saw Tenma, the whole Munich library fire was happening. So he shot Roberto Chan at that point, and we've, it's been a month removed from that. So that's kind of where we're at in the story at this point.
So yeah, Tenma's fully kind of broken, and then fucking that's when I was like, that's my Grimmer guy. He's like, all right, Tenma, you go where you're going. I'm going where I'm going. They start to part ways, and he's like, hey, Tenma, we all carry around the sins that we have. They never really go away. but we all have them. And
Yeah.
then he just fucking walks away, and I was like, I
drops
fucking love this guy.
hard poetry
love
on him.
him.
It's just, yeah, he's a cool dude.
I literally love him so much. Like,
And he also...
Reichwein was my dude, and
Yeah.
as soon, literally 5 minutes into this thing, I was like, fuck, this is my favorite guy. Yeah,
Yes.
this is him.
I forgot that he was coming up too, and then I saw this episode was called Grimmer, and I was like, oh, Grimmer! So I was super stoked to see him again.
Yeah, he's great.
And then he just like casually mentions like, oh yeah, I have a dead son, and we kind of never hear any more about that.
Yeah.
And Tenma tries to pry out some more of him. He's like, man, I'm sorry that you lost your son. How did it happen? Because, Tenma's a doctor and he wants to know these things.
Yeah.
And all that Grimmer offers is like, maybe if he had a doctor like you, he could still be around. And also, I love trout fishing, and you can catch a trout this big in these rivers.
Oh, man, he's so good.
He's so good. And then, like, at the very end of the episode, so we see him get to Prague. He, like, goes back. He's like, I'm going to take the train station in like a normal citizen instead of sneaking across the border. And then he comes to our Mr. Petrov, a.k.a. Reinhard Biermann, which what a fantastic German name that is.
Yeah.
And he just, like, you see his journalist come out because he sits down with this guy at a bar. He's like, hey, mind if I sit here? With this little smile. And then he sits down and he's like, hey, guess what? I know exactly who you are and what you did, and you're going to tell me everything. And then the episode ends.
Yeah, because I think the dude, Bierman guy, he's like in like a newspaper, and like he lowers it, and his eyes are just like, holy fuck, he does know me. And you're like, oh shit, okay, so this is real. All right,
yes.
cool.
So, next episode, The Ghost of 511. So we learn we're back in the bar with Petrov and Grimmer, and Petrov is grilling him, and we find out. So he's talking to him, and he's like, "So, I mean, you're a pretty rare mix. You're a psychologist and a psychiatrist, and you have a focus in brainwashing. So that's why you were wanted for the Kinderheim 511 project, because it wasn't a real orphanage. Because a real orphanage would have somebody who was focused in like child psychology or trauma or something, and not brainwashing." So he's kind of like following him out of the bar and pestering him. And he's like, give me the data from your experiments. I want that data. I need to know where it is, because you're a good guy. You're a scientist at heart. You would have kept that data, because we've also been chasing the ghost of like East Germany and West Germany merging, and all the records of that time being expunged.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a big thing. Like, a lot of my family's records no longer exist because of that very thing. Like, they were lost in the war. Whenever East and West Germany merged again, they were like, let's just get rid of all of this stuff. We don't need to see any of that anymore. So who knows what my family was doing. But
so can I say this? In all of like his talking, like all of his like kind of lore dropping about 511 and like all this stuff, I just kept waiting for the name Johann to drop.
yeah.
And it never fucking drops.
No, they don't talk about Johann like almost at all in these few episodes.
They do at the end, but they only call him the monster.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, we got there, but like I was waiting for this guy, Grimmer, to just say like, I need to know your data. I have to know what's up with Johann. And I was gonna be like, oh my god, the plot. But we didn't get there, so I'm like, what's your stake, buddy? Like I'm like, okay, where does your interest come from?
Right.
You know?
It seems very personal. So, like, we have to wonder about his son, too. How old would his son be? So, I mean, Kinderheim 511 was years ago at this point, right?
Like, probably 15 years ago, maybe?
I keep calling it Kinderheim 511. It's 511 Kinderheim. It just sounds like Fahrenheit 411.
Yeah. Because what? Johann was probably 5, 6, potentially up to 8 in there. And I would say he's in his like early 20s now.
Yeah.
So I would say it's probably been 15 years from where we are now to when Kinderheim was like occurring.
Okay. And how old would you clock Grimmer? I mean, I would think he's around Tenma's age, which I'd to say like
I'd
late
put
30s.
him at like 30. Yeah.
Okay.
Like 35-ish, roughly. Something like that.
Oh, man.
Let me see if I can try to get anything like that while
yeah,
you're
see if
talking
you find
about
out
it.
how old they are. So in that scene where he's like following Petrov after the bar, they do this incredible thing with framing where the two men are talking and there's like a window pane behind them where you can see their reflections. And as
Yeah.
the conversation gets more like agitated and aggressive, it continues to zoom in, but it zooms past the men and just zooms in on their window instead. So you see the reflections
Yeah.
talking to each other. And I was like, this is fucking cool shit you don't get to see a lot in animation.
This is wild. You ready?
Yeah.
In the Prague arc, Tenma is 37 years old.
Okay.
The Prague arc is 9 years after the beginning of the show.
Shit. Okay.
So from like episode 1 to right now where we are, it's been 9 years.
Damn.
So that means... Wow, fucking old is Johan, though? Because, I mean, he was like 13 maybe
I think
when he got the
so-
surgery done.
I think he was like 8 when he got the surgery done. And I remember it was Nina's 19th birthday that they were going to tell her that she was adopted. And that's when they were murdered,
That's
right?
true.
So he should be about
Okay.
that same age.
In the Prague arc, Johan is 20.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So then, yeah, maybe I am right. About 15 years ago was when the stuff was happening. Because I'd say, like I said, he was probably 5 when Kinderheim was going on.
Actually, they did mention it happened in 1985. And if Johan was born in 75, like this wiki
85.
says.
So
then-
11.
Yeah, he would have been 10 or
Right.
11,
Okay.
depending on whenever his birthday is.
But wait a minute. But then, so it's only been, yeah, okay. Yeah, so about 10 years to this point now.
Yeah.
That tracks. Okay, cool.
All right.
Dates are
Timeline
making
makes
sense. We're good. Okay, cool.
So yeah, during that conversation in the alleyway when we zoom in on the windows and all that stuff, so Petrov gets like really angry with Grimmer and he just canes him across the face, which is so violent.
Yeah.
And he also says to him like, I was not the director at the fall of Kinderheim 511.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
was
a
there
little-
when it started.
Yeah.
And then they took it from me.
Yes, and then all the children killed each other in 1985.
Yeah.
So that was not me, but I did other experiments on the kids, basically. And
Is
he
it
just
later when he says like, no, that experiment was to teach them how to learn, to teach them how to intake knowledge. That's what I did. I taught them to learn.
Yeah, that is later on in the episode. So like, yeah, so he's hanging out in the alleyway, and then those two children just come around the corner, and they're like, "Grandpa, we've been looking for you.
Yeah.
Where are you?" So, kind of puts the brakes on for Grimmer. He's like, "Well, I can't follow this guy while his grandchildren are here,
Yeah.
so I guess I'll let him go for the night." So he goes home.
That was such a like fucked up line too. He's like, "Oh, you're just gonna enjoy a peaceful life now, huh? After all the stuff you've done." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, damn."
Grimmer gets serious when he gets serious. Like he has
Oh,
has
yeah.
as many good lines, I think, as Johan does.
Oh yeah, but that is such a vibe of the time because that was such a big deal. The whole like people that were Nazis being able to just go rejoin society later, like they weren't part of like the worst
Yeah.
thing that's ever happened. Like
Right.
that was a big like resentment that people had.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. And like people hated themselves for it too. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
animosity and just like generational trauma that's carried down through that shit. It's wild. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
But so that night, somebody knocks on Grimmer's hotel door and he's like, "I have a delivery for you from Mr. Petrov." And Grimmer's like, "Okay, 1 second," and backs up. And then the two goons like bust down the door because they're there to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
And then he just like calmly escapes down the fire escape, just like walks down. He's
He's
like, "Well,
that's
see
why
later."
you get a corner window with no corner room with no view. Good for
Yes.
escaping. He's just so
chipper.
okay about he's just
Yeah.
so chipper about everything.
Water off a duck, man. He's just happy as a clam. So then what happens? Then Grimmer is still just like, "I gotta go talk to Petrov now because he's tried to kill me."
Oh yeah, so he's been like kind of tracking him now, and he's just like watching him like in the park.
Yeah.
And he's watching him at the ice cream place, and that's when he's like, "Wait a minute, these two kids are not the kids at the park.
Yes.
These two kids are not the two kids in the alleyway."
Did that give you chills?
Fucker's doing it again. kind of, because I was like, oh shit, he is doing it again. And so
Yeah.
he runs to that fool's house, knocks on the door, and a kid answers, and he's just like, oh hey, I know your granddad, can I come in? They're like, okay, just let this fucking dude in. And then he like walks through Petrov's house and finds a room full of fucking children.
There's just boys everywhere, like ages 8 to 12, probably. Just boys hanging out, playing chess, playing soccer. I get some great soccer ball Foley.
Oh yeah.
It's just a lot.
So I did, because of last time, and because I was watching them kind of at work, I did do headphones. I had the
Nice.
Yabras in this time.
Yes.
Their show's pretty good in headphones. I will admit, it is pretty
Yeah.
good in headphones.
It's very
Yeah.
nice in headphones. I only watch it in headphones. I
I
recommend.
think that's how I'm going to start doing it from now on.
Yeah, I recommend everybody watch it in headphones. It's a delight. That Foley gets up in your brain.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, all the little boys are all about like Dieter's age. So all like kind of orphanage age, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're led to believe like, oh, he's conducting his own 511 in his home. Like the shit's going on right here. But then Petrov comes in. He's like, no, I adopted these boys from the red light district. It's fine. Like their moms
Yeah.
were dead sex workers. It's okay. I have them now. And this is where your line comes in. So he's talking like, trust me, the experiment was a success because at Kinderheim, I was teaching the boys to learn. And this is another line that they have that was super great. I don't remember the exact line, but they were like, every education is an experiment. You're trying to figure out how the kids
Yes.
learn best. You have to change your ways and like do different things and figure out how to teach them stuff. You're always experimenting with them. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking true. Like that's
Yeah.
a weird way to put it, but it's true.
It is. He was like, school is an experiment
Yeah.
every time. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right.
And so Grimmer's like, we're going to go play soccer and kind of take all the kids outside.
He's like, sure would be a shame if somebody were to report this.
Yeah.
And then Petrov is like, wait a minute. Are you trying to blackmail me? Like, are
Yeah.
you trying to get my data by saying you'll take the boys? And he's like,
Maybe. I don't know.
well, I believe I said we were off to play soccer.
So they go play soccer. And then Grimmer has this moment with the kids where he's like, hey, kids, do you guys want to be free? Do you want to leave this old man? And they're like, no, we love Grandpa. Fuck you. I don't want to leave.
Yeah. He's like, but how could they be happy? Like, maybe. And then he realizes something else, and he fucking
Yeah.
runs back to the place. And I thought that scene was so funny because there's like this really far off scene through like an alleyway where he runs by,
Yeah.
and then just like 10 little boys start running through
Gaggle
as
of
well.
children. Yeah. So he comes to the conclusion too, like he was thinking that the problem with the experiment. So he seems to know more about Kinderheim than he's letting
Oh, yeah.
on, because he's like, the kids at Kinderheim were incapable of loving. And I'm like, how do you have that info? Like, were you a part of it? Were you watching it? Were you?
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
So there's some level of involvement, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as we're running back, we pass, but who in the street?
Nina.
Our friend Nina is coming out of the door, and you're like, what the fuck is Nina doing in here? And then we go inside, and Nina has just murdered Petrov and his maid.
Yeah, okay. So when I first saw the maid, I was like, oh, that's Gasoline Lady. But it wasn't Gasoline Lady.
Oh, yeah.
I got like a
similarly
little
drawn.
worried at first because I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's Gasoline Lady. But then it was not. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because her hair wasn't right. But I was like, oh, shit. He's stepping into a whole world. And then I had another moment like that in the next episode.
Yes, same.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I think we know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
maid's dead.
Maid's dead.
And then he walks in, and Petrov is not dead, but shot.
Yeah, he's on his
fatally.
last breath pretty much. So, and
Yeah.
he uses his last words to give Grimmer like pertinent information on where his safety deposit box is and how to access it, because he says there's information in there on Kinderheim 511. And I don't know if he refers to Johann by name, but he says like,
No.
he probably says like the monster that ruined it all or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's like, there was the monster that took over and ruined my experiment.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, but this one's different. Like, what did you do different? I need you to tell me before you die. And he's like, I added love. And he's like, that's not fucking news. Like, parents give their children love all the time. Like, we know that love is good for people.
Yeah.
And then he just goes, I didn't. He like actually does have like one more final line. I don't really remember what it was, but I was like, I really thought he was gonna be like, well, we didn't know, or something, to be like, how dumb. What do you mean you didn't know? But like, he didn't say anything like that.
No. Yeah, who the fuck knows what was going on at
Yeah.
the orphanage?
So then all the kids are crying, and so like, like, oh shit, like, this is different. Like, he can clearly see, yes, this is different, because he goes, and then he says that again in his mind. He's like, yeah, the other kids didn't know how to love, but like, look at these kids, and they're all like crying for this guy.
Yeah, and Grimmer's like,
so he's
oh,
like,
they
fuck,
do
it is
love.
different. Well, would you look at that? Wow.
Imagine, wow, gee whiz. So,
And then that's where that one ended, right?
yes. And
Yeah,
then we
okay.
get on to episode 42, the last one that we're watching today, and that is The Adventures of the Magnificent Steiner.
That was a weird one.
Yeah.
It was good though. I liked it.
I love this episode. So we open on like Inspector Philip Zaman, who's this new guy that we're being introduced to. And he's just like hanging out in his office like, I got to clip my nails for my wife because she hates to see the white parts. So,
And sometimes I clip them too close. Ah, shit!
Ouchies.
I just did. Dang it.
God.
Oh yeah, and he's so aloof about it. He's just like, yeah, I won't take up your time. Did you see anything? See anybody leaving? No. Yeah, you probably did. Hear anything? Yeah. All right. Well, you can go. It's all whatever.
You're
and I was
fine.
like, what a shitty fucking cop.
Yeah. He just seems
But
like
I
so
was kind of
flippant.
like, well, I wondered if it was the same as like the passport guy. Like, I'm suspecting more, but he gives off such this chipper persona that like he can influence people to kind of like think, oh, well, he's too nice to have actually seen anything. He's too nice to have actually been a part of this.
Yeah.
So I thought the cop was kind of just like, he was so good. I'll just trust him. He's fine.
Yeah.
But
So-
that's not what was happening.
Nope. He lets him go. And then, so Grimmer also, we see him like say goodbye to the orphans, and we don't really. Okay, so he's talking to Antonin, who is like the leader of the orphans, and he's like, "Hey, don't
Yeah.
forget, you got to write your friends at the
Which-
other orphanages to stay in touch."
I also found quite hilarious though, because he just goes, "You're Antonin, right? You're the leader of these boys." And I was like, "What does that mean? What do you
is
mean?
he the tallest? Like, what? He gets leader vibes, I guess.
Yeah. How did you come up with you're the leader of them, right?" I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, sure, okay.
And then he shakes Antonin's hand, Grimmer does, and I think he gives him something, right? It seems like
I'm
he
pretty
palms
sure I know
something
what
to
it
the
is
kid.
by the end of this episode.
Okay, maybe you can tell me when we get there, because I was like, I don't think we visit
Oh.
that again.
Just keep that in mind while you're talking, and you're gonna go, "Oh, I know what it was."
Okay, all right,
Oh, you're gonna know what it was.
all right.
Because at first I thought it was a note like, contact me, something to kind of like say like, well, fuck, the old guy died. I was still going to try to get info, but maybe you know info and I'll ask you. That's what I thought it was, but I definitely think I know what's in
Okay.
that kid's hand.
Maybe I have an inkling. So yeah,
Oh,
let's
you
talk.
know.
Let's talk.
You know.
So then Grimmer gets a taxi, and this is where we have the moment, right? Because like I'm like, who is
Yeah?
this fucking taxi driver?
And were you thinking it was the same person that I thought it was? Fully?
Roberto.
I was like, Roberto!
Because I mean, it zooms in on his eyes. Like you see the back of his head. He's got that like classic,
That
like
same-
slick back duck mullet.
Yep.
And
Yep,
then,
because
like-
Roberto has like a hairline that's a little back.
Yeah, and it's like a
And this guy
distinct
had
one.
it.
He's got the same hair color, and then we see his eyes, and I was like,
Yes.
"That's Roberto's eyes." And then we see his side profile. It's the show is doing this thing where it like gives you more
They
information about this
know.
person in steps.
Yeah.
and it makes
Oh, yeah.
you think it's gonna be Roberto the whole time. And like he has the same big like honking nose and everything. I was like, "This is Roberto! Holy shit!" But it's
then
not
they do a
Roberto.
full face frontal of like him in the backseat saying like where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not him. Okay,
Yeah.
thank God.
It's just like it's
But
Roberto
they
slightly
definitely
to the left.
were teasing.
Yeah,
Like
for
they
sure.
definitely were trying to make us think that, I think.
And also, I mean, when he was talking to Tenma at the very beginning, because Tenma was like, I killed a guy, or at least I think I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're teasing that
Yeah.
out for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's fully what I thought there.
Okay. Glad we're on the
Okay.
same page. So, yeah, they go in the taxi and pick up this other random guy, and Grimmer is like, hey, where are we going?
Okay. Were they speaking... Oh, they were speaking Czech.
Yes.
That's what they were... Yeah, because, like, this guy just goes, like, where do you want to go? But in Czech. So he's like, I don't... Can you speak English or German, please? And he just
Yeah.
keeps speaking Czech to him. And then they pick up, another guy. And they have just a full conversation that we're reading. Just about, hey, did you watch the soccer game? I was too busy.
Oh,
And I'm
see,
like, this
I didn't
guy's
get those
kind of a dick.
subtitles.
Oh, yeah, okay, so you fully see what he says. He just says, like, where do you want to go? And he's like, I'm trying to go to the hotel. And so he's like, oh, but can we stop here? And he goes, oh, so you want to go to this place and then to the hotel? And
Okay.
it's just like, can you speak English or German, please? And then he's just like, I'm going.
Okay.
And then when the guy gets in, the guy in the passenger seat says, hey, did you watch the soccer game? And he says, no, I was too busy. So even their conversation was just mundane.
Okay.
That you don't think anything about it. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just how they do taxis there. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's not how they do taxis there. They're the Czech
Nope.
secret police, and they beat the shit out of Grimmer. So,
Okay. Foley time.
yeah.
Because I was very upset at the Foley in this show.
Oh, wait. Before we get there, though, we have to step up to the Foley, right?
No, not
No?
yet.
Okay.
This is them beating him up.
Okay.
I was like, for a show that's so good at Foley work, all these punches and kicks inside the car were so cookie cutter, basic
Boff.
punch sound, just
boom.
and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is the worst Foley they have ever done in this show.
And the zoomed
And I was
out
very
shot
upset.
of the car, like, rocking as they're having a fight in it. That was actually, like, really cartoony.
It pissed me off. I was like, I have grown to expect a certain level of Foley work, and this is Looney Tunes right now.
Yeah, fully Looney
Oh, it pissed me
Tunes.
off. So mad.
So yeah, they
But
beat
yeah,
him
so-
up, and then he like runs away,
okay,
sort of.
Because why did they beat him up? What does the guy turn around and ask him?
He's asking him about where the key for the safety deposit box is, right?
Yes.
And Grimmer says, "I don't have it," right?
Yes.
Did he
so
give
in
it to
my
Antonin?
mind, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Because I felt like he could be like, go ahead and search. Like, I don't know what you mean. And if
Yeah.
they searched his bag and everything, he would have nothing.
Okay, that's a good point.
But, well, now, okay, I'm going to stick with the key. Because then we talk about what's in the box in a bit. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe he gave him that. But I truly think, because I mean, it's a small kid.
Yeah,
He
then
totally
like,
just
palms
gave him
him
a
something.
key.
Yeah,
Because Antonin looked at him in the car with his hand closed, like, what?
like what the fuck is this?
Like, he
supposed to be?
gave him a look.
Yeah.
He fully gave him that key.
Okay. All right.
I think. That's what I got from it. As soon as the guy turned and said, where's the key? I was like, well, yeah, why would you fucking carry it with you? You'll give it to somebody. That's pure plausible deniability right there.
Yeah, that
I
fully makes
don't
sense.
have it.
Okay.
So I think that's what he gave.
Got it. So yeah, he tries to escape the
Well,
thugs.
until now, what did you think he gave him?
I didn't know. I was like, what is it?
Oh, you were like, I can't wait for that reveal.
Yeah. I was thinking
Okay.
like maybe in a few episodes we'll figure that out.
Well, I'm hoping it's the key.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So the thugs follow him into like a construction site, and he runs up this like rusty ass staircase and is up on top of a weird concrete building, and
Yeah.
they like chase him to the edge of something, and suddenly you hear like shots ring out. It's like, oh shit, who's shooting Holmes?
Okay. Where did your mind go?
So
Before the reveal.
before the reveal, Tenma, I was like, surely Tenma has come to the
I
rescue.
was like, Tenma has followed him, and he has saved this man,
yes.
and it is not what happened.
No,
Ugh.
it's Mr. Inspector Philip Zaman Nail Clippers. He peeks around the corner with his big ass body and is like, "Hey, partner," and man,
The twist, man. Damn it.
I
So mad.
know. But I believed it too, like right up until the twist, because, like I said, I don't remember like the last half of this show, so I'm experiencing this with you. I'm like new.
Okay.
So yeah, he like peeks around the corner and is like, "Hey, I can't believe these guys were chasing you. Why were they chasing you? Do you have
because
something?"
he goes, well, I kind of thought you might be in danger, so I decided to follow. And I was like, okay.
So
He
is
wasn't
a good
just
inspector.
like denying him, like, oh, he's so good, I don't care. I think he was like, I'm going to kind of use him as bait to find the bad guys. I was like,
Yes.
oh, what a good detective. Okay, nice. I like him. All of this in the span of 20-second scene. We're going to have a lot of emotions here.
Yup. So he's like, "Okay, so you really don't have the key? You don't have anything? You don't have any information? All right."
And I was like, what? And then he's like, oh, maybe you really don't have the key because you've already been to the security box. So you got the tape, right? Did you listen to the tape? And I was like, did he give the kid the tape?
Maybe he did, because maybe it's a tiny tape, like one of those voice recorder ones.
I don't know. I'm really thinking it's just the key, because when he said, oh, so you already got the tape, Grimmer did look like, oh, there's a fucking tape in there?
Yeah. Well,
I
so
feel like he was like, oh, shit, they know more, and now I'm learning something.
he did know that there was a tape, though, because Petrov's last
Oh,
words,
he
he
did
was
say
like,
something.
he was saying, like, we have a recording of a hypnosis done on one of the boys or whatever. And so he knew that there was a tape or something.
Oh, yeah, because I started going all Stir of Echoes was like, oh, my God,
Oh,
they
man.
hypnotized Johan, and that's what awakened this thing inside of him or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, yeah. But so then maybe it was just a view of like, I thought I'd be the only person to know because he told me as he was dying. How did these people fucking know? Maybe that's
Yeah.
what the look was in.
That's kind of how I took it. He's like, how do you know there's
Okay.
a tape? So as he does that little reveal, the fucking thugs step around the corner because he didn't shoot them.
Didn't do anything.
Oh my God, full body goosebumps. So oh my God, he didn't kill them. Like, they're searching for what they call the monster's roots, is what
Yeah.
they said. And I was like, that is fascinating.
Right before the title card, so
Mhm.
right before our Full Metal Alchemist, right?
Yes.
He's all like, well, you know, maybe you really don't have it, but there's ways to know. And then he clips those fingernail trimmers right in the camera, right up
It's
front. And you're like,
so
oh,
gross.
fuck. What is that going to be about? And then it comes back, Full Metal Alchemist. and then we're ready to go. So
Yeah,
he's
and
all
then we're
tied.
in the fucking basement.
Yeah. And yeah, they're like, we need that tape because we just need to hear what happened. We need to know the monster's roots. And he didn't really say why, but I was like, oh, I don't think they work for Johan,
No.
but I think they might want to create their own Johan.
I think they worked for Kinderheim, perhaps, and they're trying to
Okay.
figure out how they created Johann, like you said, maybe to figure out, because they also mentioned later on, Zaman knows fully about 511 and knows that Johann can quote unquote summon the orphans to do his bidding. He's like, we know
Yeah.
that he has the ability to summon, and we've seen Johann just like surrounded with children, and they play the games for him and do all this shit in his name. So like,
Yeah.
maybe he does have some kind of power, some kind of persuasion that he can do on children, some kind of psychological thing that is
Yeah.
just innate in him now.
Maybe.
And they're trying to figure out how that started.
Okay. Like, yeah, by the end, I don't think we're going to know from these guys, but we'll figure out something later.
Yeah. So
Ooh, that's a good theory. Okay.
we have the whole
Yeah, there's more to know.
torture scene that happens.
Okay, so I watched the first two in headphones, and then I just hadn't put them back on, and I was like, I'm just going to finish this last show.
Yep.
So I watched the first half of this without headphones.
And then
you
I
had just
texted you.
happened to text me. And I go, oh, I'm watching the last one right now. And you were like, that's the one. Put them on. And I literally put the headphones in. And then this scene happened. And I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Gross.
Fucking gross. Yeah. Everyone
So
knows that
he's-
pain of like when you
Yeah.
clip your nail just a little too close. And I mean, you
Yep,
feel
you
it in
quick
the
it.
beginning when he's like, I gotta clip my nails for my wife. Oops, too close. And it's like, ouch, I felt that. Oh,
So he fucking starts just clipping all of his nails so close, just on
Yes.
every finger. But like he's doing it and then like twisting and ripping and
yes.
shit.
It's so gross. And I mean, there's a moment too
Ugh.
where it like zooms out and there's just like shredded finger and blood all over the floor. And oh my God. And also at that point, he had only clipped the one finger. He
Yeah.
clips that finger like 5 or 6 times before moving on to
Oh.
the next finger.
Oh,
It's-
I didn't piece. No, no.
Yeah,
mm-mm.
it's fucking gross. Like it's full on torture.
Ouch, kabibbles.
I
Okay.
know. It's nasty.
Jesus, man. And he took that shit like a champ, too.
He did, yeah. And he brings up this like random. So he's like at the lowest point in his torture. He's like beat to shit. His nails are all gone, and
Yep.
he's looking at the ground and he's like, "You guys ever heard of the Magnificent Steiner?"
And they're like, huh?
It's this guy, this pencil thin weakling, and he kills his enemy.
he was like, well, there was a TV show that we could pick up in East Germany because the signal was so strong you could pick it up anywhere. So we would watch this show as kids. There was this guy who was a pencil thin dork, but when he'd get in trouble, he'd black out, and his savior would come to save him, all tuxedo mask style.
The Magnificent Steiner.
And by the end of the show, you find out it's just him. He blacks out, and then he saves himself. And I was like, cool. Tenma's your Steiner, though.
Yeah.
You ain't doing it, buddy.
No, you pencil thin weakling.
I was like, cool. You're going to pass out. Tenma's going to come save you, and you're going to be like, oh, it happened again.
Yeah. And he
But
like
no.
so they kick his ass like to next Tuesday basically. They knock his chair over and his head hits the ground like a fucking coconut, and it was really gross.
Yep.
And that Foley also got to me.
Yeah.
And he passes out naturally. And then Zaymon is like, go ahead and dunk his ass in the water, wake him up. And so they put him under this like water thing.
Faucet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then who opens the fucking door?
Not Tenma.
Not
Who I was fully waiting for.
Yup.
Like, I truly believed Tenma would show up at some point again.
We've been
And he
trained to think
doesn't.
Tenma's going to show up. Like every single time somebody's in trouble, zoom,
Yeah.
Tenma to the rescue. He's always there.
But so now you're fucking up my perception because Nina's a hardened lady now.
Dude,
She just be murdering.
Yeah, I think after she got a taste of the gun in the library, you know, like she had a brush with death in the library. She now understands that it's like it's Johan or her. Like
It's do
They-
or die.
they cannot both exist. And so she's doing anything she can to get to Johan.
So yeah, there's like this whole slow motion door open thing. The way they did the lighting for that, phenomenal. She
Yes.
looked so cool.
Yeah.
Like almost none of her face, but you could see that death glare in her eyes, though.
The cold eyes.
Oh my god! And then she raises the gun, and then I thought it was really cool because I was like, "Is that what happened or not?" But home dude was awake, and he's looking back and sees her. So he's under the water running on his head. He fully sees her, and then a shot rings out,
And he passes
and then
out.
he blacks out, wakes up, everybody's fucking dead.
Yep.
Which was exactly what he said happened in the Steiner things. He said he would wake up to his enemies bloodied in front of him, and he wouldn't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all bloodied in front of him, but he doesn't know what happened. And
so
then he
he
even says, like,
takes-
there was a girl. A girl walked in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, man, the animation for his tired body
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
It really was. Like he gets up so slow and pained, and then just drags that big
that up the
bag.
stairs. I was like, this is monumental in animation to me. I am
feel
living for
tired
this.
watching this.
So yeah, then he gets all the way back to his hotel, finally, not via taxi.
Uh-huh.
Collapses in bed, and then he goes, yeah, a girl walked in, and a single shot rang out, and only one of those bodies had a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And then he looks at his hands, and they're covered in blood. And they do kind of show it look like, yeah, kind of like a face got like slammed into a wall and then like ripped down it, maybe?
Yes, they show like little snippets, like flashback, really fast looks at like, here's the corpses bloodied on the ground. Here's a smear of blood on the wall. Like,
Yeah.
it just, you have to piece it together yourself because the show is not going to give you the answer.
Yeah. And he's looking at his bloodied hands and just goes, the miraculous Steinfeld again.
Steinfeld.
What's his name?
The
Steiner.
magnificent
I said
Steiner.
Steinfeld.
It's Haley Steinfeld. She did it again.
Of course she did. Yeah. So then he looks down, he says that, and then what? It just ended, right?
Yeah, he looks at his hands and he goes, I did it again. And the show ends.
There's no fucking way. No. There's no
What
way.
do you think happened?
I really don't know. Like,
Do you
there's
think we need
no
to like
way.
kick their asses? They're like huge Czechoslovakian thugs, secret
And I'm
police
trying
type
to
people.
think. Who had the gunshot? Was it the cop?
Yes, it was the inspector.
Yes.
And she
Okay.
got him dead center in the forehead.
I mean, I've seen her do them gun runs, man. She's pretty badass.
Yeah,
She beat up that dude at the dance.
she did. Yeah, she judo threw that guy.
She can fucking body these two guys, probably. They've already gotten a whooping from old Grimmer,
Yeah.
you know.
Nita can
So
fucking
they might
ball.
be wore down some. Like, they probably underestimated her, or she probably, you know, had already shot one dude, so
Yeah.
she probably had the upper hand and just, like, waylaid on him. But he was moved to the corner. He was not where he was.
Yeah, he was like safely put off in the corner. He was pulled out of the water. Or maybe he got himself out of the water after he kicked their buns or whatever, you know?
Maybe. But, like, you saw how he walked up. Like, he was so beat up.
Yeah,
There's
he was
no
done.
way. I really have no theory. I'm like, I don't know.
All right.
I would love for that to be the thing, but I'm like, no. But the show does weird stuff, so maybe. I really have no clue.
All right.
But then it just ended there.
And
I
that's the
was
end.
like, still a 10 out of 10. It's a
All
pretty
right.
good show.
Good. So we're still having fun.
Still having fun. Ending is unchanged.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was reading, I don't know how I got here. I was looking at something about the ending to Monster, and they said that there is a different song that plays, and that we should already be in the different song, but I am not noticing a different song
Oh,
thus
interesting.
far. It said 1 through 34 has this song, and then like 34 through the rest has this song, and I'm like,
What?
no, the same shit has been playing this whole time.
Yeah, we should look it up after we wrap recording because I want to hear it.
Yeah, we need to see. But so I was fully waiting for, because like when those first two shots ring out for
Yeah.
the goons, I was
Yeah.
like, fucking gun-toting Tenma's coming around the bend, man.
I know.
And then nothing. Like, the show is teasing when that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Not yet.
Not yet.
But still good. Still super good. And I've only watched Nina read that story 5 times since the last time we recorded.
Jump, jump. Gobble, gobble.
Gulp. Oh my god, it's so good. That story's really good. And I'm noticing stuff like in the ending now. Like, when I watched it again, I was like, ooh, I just now noticed, like, there's like the person, but when the monster goes in, they get like the little rosy cheeks, so you know he's
Oh, yeah.
inside or whatever. And that's in the end credit stuff, and you see it all there, and I'm like, it's just so interesting. What
Just
a
like
neat,
the Labubu's. Their little rosy cheeks.
yeah. Just the details this show has is really good. I'm still thoroughly enjoying this.
Good. I'm glad. I am too. I'm fully in
Yeah.
it. I'm invested.
I'm about it. Yeah, I am ready to know. I'm ready to know.
Next few episodes, we find out a few more things. So
Okay.
I'm excited to get into it. There are some.
I just want to meet the mama.
Yeah, that part I don't remember. Like there's things that I remember throughout the show. Like I remember a couple things from this arc, but yeah, there's
Okay.
mysteries ahead for both of us.
So I know you're not going to tell me,
No.
but is one of the things you remember why you were like, what the fuck was I watching? Is that right at the end, the monster jumps out of Johan and into Tenma? And the book was
Maybe.
real the whole time.
We'll find out.
Okay. So, yeah, this is great. This show is still good. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you guys are watching it because I know it's being watched in our
Yes.
Discord as well. Now I can go back and read the spoiler
Yeah.
that was tagged in there.
Wait, don't read that,
because
actually.
I did not read it.
Don't read
Oh,
it.
don't
'cause
read it yet.
It's a spoiler for
Okay.
a future episode. Verdon is
Okay, I'm not
ahead
reading.
of the game now.
Well, that's his fault.
Yep.
He should be waiting.
Wait your turn.
So, okay, then I won't go read that. So never mind.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Next, we're going to do episodes 43 through 46. So another 4 episodes.
Oh, man. I kind of want to watch them today.
I mean,
Maybe I should start writing notes.
Yeah, I think you should. Like, it's really helps me like stay informed and keep track of my theories.
Well, that and the Wikipedia stuff doesn't help because
Yeah.
they're reading it different. And I'm like, but is that one more correct? Because it's like the actual synopsis. But is it a person that wrote its synopsis and just what they think, but not what's
Yeah.
real?
I think you should definitely
So-
keep your own notes.
I'm gonna get out my Samsung notes and just write it down as I go.
There you go.
Okay, 43 through 46. You heard it here. We'll see you next Monday.
Indeed.
So with that, you want to go get started?
Yes,
Wanna
please.
chomp chomp? Gobble
Gobble,
gobble?
gobble.
If you love this episode, please tell a friend. Word of mouth is the best way we can get the good YMBToAP into fresh new ears. We release weekly every single Monday, every single Monster Monday for the time being. If you want to talk to us, go on over to the Discord. Link to that is in our show notes. Come join any of those things. The Discord has been hopping lately. Like, it has been busy. We've had lots of movie stuff, lots of game stuff, lots of anime stuff. We've been talking a little bit about Monster because we got people finally watching it. We're chit-chatting about it. I'm getting left in the dust with the discussion a little bit, but that's okay. I want to know what phone you guys have and if you really care about a certain feature or if it's just about the family you're in, because I've thought about going to Pixel. Kelsey's thought about coming to Samsung, but finally did. Do you guys even really care? Like, is the phone debate even that big anymore? I just want to know.
I don't think it is.
What do you guys think? Do you like 28 Years Later? And if you do, why? What am I missing? What's the appeal of giant zombie dicks in that movie? Write in and let me know. And definitely come into the anime channel. Talk about Monster Monday. I want to know everything you guys think about this show. And I do want you guys to come in and let's start brainstorming potentially maybe another show we could do this with. You never know.
Yeah.
This has been kind of fun. I'm digging
Real
it.
fun.
Somebody floated a Full Metal rewatch.
No.
I would. Well, I mean, I just do that for fun anyway.
Yeah.
I love Full Metals. But yeah, let's do a new one that we can I kind of like this where it's a little bit more in like a reality spectrum.
Yeah.
And there's tons of animes like this. This is almost like the one we watched, Erased.
Yes.
You know, it's like a little bit out there, but it's so grounded at the
Yeah.
same time.
Definitely.
Something like Erased in this. Let's start, you guys that know some more, throw something like that out to us.
Get in that vibe.
Yes. But again, thank you for listening, for sharing all of these topics and things with us. We love you guys so much. You're the best.
Our theme song is The Grim Reaper Blows the Horn by Faraj. Please check him out on YouTube. And as always, thank you for listening and tune in next time to get the answer to that burning question. What are they putting in that Rager placenta?
But we had one more important sound we wanted you to hear.
I'll just
I've
look
got
at
my
Pauline's
notes
feet.
that I've written, so. Why do you have that up?
Oh, my screen! Good thing it's not so bad.
God.
Because I looked at how old she was. See, she's
Oh, right.
13. And that's just one of the many tabs
Yeah, this is
that's still open.
this is what happens when you record an episode of YMBToAP. You have how old is Pauline Donkey Kong in one tab and Labubu Hunting in the other tab.
And then 28 years later, Dick in another.
Mr. Hands in a fourth tab.
Okay.